Another night spent staring at the ceiling, watching shadows dance across the walls, trying to remember what it's like to feel alive before I learn that everything can fall. The clock keeps ticking like a hammer in my chest. Every second feels like years gone by. I wear a smile so nobody asks questions, while another piece of me quietly dies. They tell me time will heal the damage, tell me storms eventually pass, but nobody talks about the silence afterward, or the ghosts that always seem to last. I keep walking through familiar places, yet nothing feels the way it did before. Every road I travel leads to memories, standing like wreckage on the shore. The photographs are slowly fading, but the feelings never seem to leave. It's strange how pain can outlive moments and become something you believe. Thinking life was something I could trust, believing every promise people made me wouldn't someday turn to dust. I believed in forever back then, in loyalty that never bends. I believed if you gave your heart away, it wouldn't break in the end. But life has a way of teaching lessons through losses nobody expects, and every scar becomes a chapter in stories we'd rather forget. Now I carry those old memories like stones inside a weathered pack. Some days I wish I could set them down, but they always find their way back. I'm lost in pain, drifting through the wreckage of yesterday, trying to find a reason to stay, while the weight of the world drags me away. I'm lost in pain, holding on to pieces that remain, searching through the darkness and rain for the man I used to be, but all I see is someone lost in pain. There are scars nobody ever notices, hidden underneath skin and bone, wounds that never needed stitches, yet somehow left me feeling alone. I learned how to carry mountains silently, how to bury tears before they fall, how to answer every question with I'm fine, even when I feel nothing at all. I've watched people come and go like seasons, promises disappearing in the wind. Trust became another lesson learned, another battle I could never win. Now I sit with all the things unspoken, every word I should have said out loud, building castles out of broken memories while standing in a lonely crowd. I became good at pretending that everything was under control, while inside I was slowly breaking, trying to protect a fractured soul. There were nights I couldn't sleep at all, just listening to the silence breathe, wondering if anybody noticed how much I had beneath the sleeve. Every burden that I carried, every fear I couldn't name, every moment spent believing I was somehow meant to blame. The mirror became a stranger, a reflection I barely knew, someone trying hard to keep moving with nothing left to prove. The world kept turning without mercy, days becoming years somehow, and every time I thought I'd healed, life would remind me of it now. And I know the sun still rises, even when my eyes can't see the light, but some days hope feels miles away, and surviving feels like the fight. I know tomorrow still exists beyond the darkness of tonight, but knowing doesn't always make it easier to keep that distant fire alive. I'm lost in pain, drifting through the wreckage of yesterday, trying to find a reason lost in pain. Maybe strength was never being fearless. Maybe courage isn't standing tall. Maybe it's waking up every morning after feeling like you've lost it all. Maybe healing isn't something sudden. Maybe it arrives a little at a time, like a distant lighthouse through the fog, or a faint melody inside the mind. Maybe survival is the victory nobody ever talks about, the simple act of taking one more step when every instinct screams to turn around. Maybe every scar I've gathered is proof I made it through somehow, proof the storms couldn't destroy me, even if they changed me now. I spent years carrying questions that nobody could answer for me, trying to understand the reasons behind things I couldn't foresee. Why some people leave without warning, why some promises disappear, why the ones who mean the most can become memories we fear. I search for meaning in the chaos, for patterns hidden in the rain, trying to convince myself there had to be a purpose behind the pain. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe some things just happen that way, but I've grown tired of losing myself to things I cannot change. I've carried regrets like chains, because even after all the storms, even after all the heartbreak, even after all the years spent feeling broken, there's still a small part of me refusing to give up, refusing to disappear, refusing to become the pain. And tomorrow, when the sun rises again, I'll stand up, carry what's left of myself, and keep moving forward, one step at a time. Another night spent staring at the ceiling, watching shadows dance across the walls, trying to remember